I might have had some questions about who I was going to go to for middle relief before I realized that Mike Stackpole was the right person there. But anybody who's been to these award ceremonies in the past several years knows that obviously this is the point where I have to bring in the closer. Please welcome to the stage Mike Selinker.
I'm totally the Mariano Rivera of the gaming. I totally dig that. Okay, so I have 3 awards to present. I love that this category was separated out from where it was previously because it's a different kind of beast than the one that follows it. So I'm going to introduce the category of children's, family, or party game. Children, family, or party game. Nominees in this category are You the Traitor from Looney Labs? See? Children's game. Designed by Andrew Looney. Duck Safari from Ape Games, designed by Kevin G. Nunn. Hack and Stack from Mayfair Games, designed by Bernd Eisenstein. Ren Fair from Atlas Games, designed by Michelle Nephew with Wendy Wyman. And Word on the Street from Out of the Box Publishing, designed by Jack Dagan. Let's find out together, shall we? The winner of Children's, Family, or Party Game is Are You the Traitor? I'll give you the stage now.
Woohoo! All right, wow. First of all, I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Kristen, for starting the company that publishes all of our games. I'd like to thank David Harrington, the artist who did all the fabulous art on the game. I'd like to thank all of our friends and fans, everybody who voted for it, and especially my group of playtesters and gaming buddies who, after years and years of playing Werewolf, Are You the Werewolf, or the Mafia, whatever you want to call it, that the game has been around all these years, we played it and played it and played it, and we were like, I can do better. And I wanted to do my game that really took to that level, but I couldn't have done it without my friends, especially John Cooper, who's not here, Dave Chalk, I see back there, Jake Davenport, and others like that, a group called the Wonderland Kids Society. And also I'd like to thank Dmitry Davidov, wherever he is, the Russian guy who apparently originally did the whole Mafia thing way back when in the Cold War era in Russia. We all think it's like a public domain game, but there is a guy, a Russian guy, who invented the game that kind of spawned it all. So let's hear it for that guy. Anyway, thanks so much, everyone.
I also want to thank Andy for finally fixing Werewolf.
Well, I appreciate that. I did do it just for you.
You did, I know, because I complained so much about it.
I know. Always talking.
So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Saw the montage earlier of the people in the industry who have left us this year. I reserved this one because I didn't know that everybody would necessarily make a connection between the game industry and the person I'm about to talk about. Martin Gardner was a person who transcended the game, science, puzzle industry. He was above everything we do as people. He looked down upon us like a Stanley Kubrick movie and said, what is all that? I want to analyze it, I want to process it back to you, and I want to teach you about things that you've never understood before. He wrote a column for Scientific American for 25 years, and in that column analyzed board games in ways that had never been done before, certainly not for the public. Analyzed card games. It was where I learned terms like NP complete and learning learning about games like Senet from Egypt and all sorts of. I learned about Scarlet cards. I learned about probability. I learned about everything that I ever needed to learn to be a game designer from those columns that were in that book. I had the privilege last year of working very briefly with Martin Gardner. He was 95 years old. The editors of Wired magazine asked me to put together a special issue on games and puzzles. and asked, "Do you know Mark Gardner?" I said, "No, I've never met him, but I'll see if I can find him." And I wasn't able to find an email address for him, so I called him. He answered the phone, and I explained who I was. And the reason I wasn't able to find an email address for him is because he'd never used email. In fact, he never used a computer. And so this person who had taken all the theory that we use and distilled it down to something we can use, basically left the industry, as we call it, because he learned everything he thought he could know. But he still monitored what we did. He knew things that had happened in the last 25 years since he stopped, or last 15 years since he stopped doing the Scientific American column. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people in this room who didn't realize that they would be game designers when they started reading those columns. So I thought that it was important to, as we look ahead to the card game, board game categories, to realize that a lot of us, you know, as we grew up on Sid Saxon games, Alex Randolph, people like that, that was where we learned about them. That's where we understood that there was theory behind them. That's where we learned that there were changes we could make in the world just simply by modifying things that people understood. And so I wanted to give everybody a chance to know that just earlier this year, last month, he passed away at the age of 95, complete, full of faculties, was one of the sharpest people I ever talked to in my life. And so I just wanted to put that out there, and you know, if you get a chance to go back and look at those old Scientific American columns, find out about hexaflexagons and all the things that were in there. Take a look. You'll be surprised at how much you know is from that set of columns that we put out. So I just wanted to put that out there and see if you could take a look and learn a little bit more about Mark Gardner, who I think was one of the true pioneers of the game industry. I'm going to move on to the card game category. The nominees in the traditional card game category are the Isle of Dr. Necro from Alderac Entertainment Group, designed by Jonathan Lissico. Martian Flux Movie Lab, designed by the aforementioned Andrew Mooney. Who, just like saying that, from Catalyst Game Labs and Bonfire LLC, designed by Matt McGraw. The Stars Are Right from Steve Jackson Games, designed by Klaus Westerhoff. And Thunderstone from Alderac Entertainment Group, designed by Mike Elliott. And the winner of this category, I just love this, is Pooh!
You know, of all the years I've been in this industry, the last thing I ever thought I'd be up before was this. So, there's a lot of people I'd like to thank for this, but I'll keep it short. I'd like to specifically thank Brett Bean, who was the artist who brought the visuals to Pooh, because without that it wouldn't be half the screen that it is. I would also like to thank all the wonderful people who came by the booth and who have been laughing and enjoying the game, and thank you all for being here. Have a good night.